How we doing, fellas? So, trying to finish sorting through, at the very least, Mercadian Masques itself. And, I'm almost done sorting through the blue. I'm sorting through the 2-drops, then, once I get them all stacked up, sort through the 1-drops. That won't take long. There's only 3 different 1-drops. Then I'm just going to sort through the lands and artifacts. And then Mercadian Masques itself will be done. I figure after I get through the next 2 sets of the block, then I'll do a little side video doing like a review of the commander decks. But I'm not going to put that as a part of the Magic Organization series. But you know, a lot of people say Mercadian Masques is a weak set, including myself, and this is true, but there are good cards in it. There are. The thing is, they're few and far between. Just as an example, sorting through here, I found a handful of cards that I could put into trade binders, like War Tax. It's 2 colors and a blue for enchantment. You pay X in blue, and creatures can't attack this turn unless their controller pays X for each attacking creature. It's not as mana efficient as, say, like a Propaganda, or I believe it's Ghostly Prison. I believe it is the white version of Propaganda. But yeah, it can lock people down, especially in if you want to use it in a format like EDH, where frequently you will have a lot of mana available. Gush is in this set. It's 4 colors and a blue for instant, draw 2 cards, alternate casting cost of returning 2 islands to your hand. That's not bad, actually. I mean, Gush sees a lot of play in older formats because in a lot of ways it's next to free. Card draw, you know. What else? I mentioned earlier that Dark Rituals, Mercadian Masques was the last time Dark Ritual was printed. Mercadian Masques is the last time Counterspell was printed. Brainstorm was reprinted in Mercadian Masques. Apparently that's the illustration that a lot of people are familiar with as well. I prefer the Ice Age illustration. I'm not sure if it's ever been printed in a base set. Wouldn't be surprised if it has. Overtaker, if he was printed today, he'd be red. He's a colorless and a blue for a 1/1, and 3 colors and a blue. Tap, discard a card. Untap target creature, gain control of it till end of turn. Creature gains haste until end of turn. So yeah. At the time, temporary gain control effects were still in blue because that predominantly was the color where you had take control of an enemy's stuff. So yeah, there's that. And so I haven't read. I mean, I'm not about to say that there aren't decent playable cards in Masques. I just wouldn't want to make an all Masques deck because, to be perfectly blunt, it's still an underwhelming set, despite the fact that there are a handful of good cards in it. As we can see, most of them are blue, I think. Red was really underpowered in this set. White was underpowered. Black was underpowered. Well, actually, in black and white, you had the Rebels and Mercenaries, where some of them had the ability to search your deck for other Rebels / Mercenaries, depending upon which one you were looking at, put them into play, blah 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 blah. So you did have a certain amount of card advantage generated there. Mercenary and Rebel decks, especially Rebel decks, came to dominate Standard back in the day. Especially once Lynn Civvy Defiant Hero was printed. Ugh. She got banned too. Oh, she got hit with the ban hammer hard. Because she was just ridiculous. Mm. But she wasn't until Nemesis. And if you're wondering, no, I don't think I have any copies of Lynn Civy. I really don't. Unless she's sitting in a trade binder, and I haven't even looked at those trade binders yet. So anyways, I'm going to finish sorting through this and get Masques all piled away. And hey, that's today's update. Catch you again tomorrow. If the fella named Tony that I was played a crap ton of games at Battlegrounds yesterday is watching the video, hey Tony, what's up? Guy's a decent player too. I mean, obviously hasn't been playing as long as I have, but then not many people have. Also, almost every single game I played against him, it really made me miss the errata on Winter Orb, because if that errata was still in place, I'd have been playing my red-white deck and just locking his lands down. And he had a bunch of decks where he ended up having a crap ton of land on the board. And every time I sat there and looked over at his side of the board, I'm like, man, what I wouldn't do to lock down his resources. Oh well. I'll catch you guys later. Be good.